Welcome to Season 3, Episode 4 of Southerners Podcast, Teacher Talks, where you get to know more about your teachers. I'm Amelia Wu.
And I'm Sarah Sun.
And in this episode, we interviewed Dr. Robinson, a music teacher here at Grand X South High.
Hi, Dr. Robinson.
Hi, Sarah.
So thank you for agreeing to do this short interview with us today. We have a few questions for you. So first, could you briefly introduce yourself?
I am Dr. Robinson, and I teach part of the music department, the Department of Performing Arts, and I teach the choir classes, music theory classes, piano classes, and I'm the musical director of the musical and the opera.
So what made you want to become a teacher, especially in the music department?
I can't ever remember not wanting to be a teacher. I think it's a natural extension of my love for the subject of music. And, you know, right from being a very young person, I enjoyed performing music myself from a very young age, and I enjoyed helping other people to fulfill their potential. And probably I really knew that I was kind of put into the position of being a teacher, of a musical director, right from the age of 12, when we were putting on plays in my community, and they said, okay, we're going to cast everybody. Well, Janine, that's my first name. Janine reads music, so she will be the musical director. And then we'll cast. And I said, oh, okay, I guess I'm not going to be on the stage. And I grew to really love that because I loved reading music. I was already pretty serious about piano and singing, and so I enjoyed helping other people to learn their music, and I've never stopped, really.
So did you start out as like a pianist or a vocalist?
I started out as a pianist from the age of 3. I had my grandfather's piano in the house, and I never got to meet him. He died long before I was born, and I just was naturally curious about it and asked for lessons. And yes, I was just naturally curious about piano, and singing is every musician's first instrument because everybody can sing, everybody has a voice, and everybody should hear their music in their head and sing it. And I used to be really super embarrassed when I was a little kid, and my piano teachers would make me sing my piano pieces. The lessons, I'd want to slink down in my chair, but I've grown to really respect that that's a process that every instrumentalist and vocalist should do.
So how long have you been teaching at South High?
This is my 7th year at South High.
So do you have any prior teaching experience elsewhere before coming
Yes,
to Grand X
quite a
South?
bit. I have nearly 30 years in the public school system, so that makes me more than 30 if you're counting. But I have a lot more years teaching privately as a private piano teacher and a young person musical director.
And you direct like the opera and the musical here. So what is the process like helping get it from like practicing to the stage?
So the first process is Mr. Schwartz, the conductor, and I have to know the musical score super thoroughly ourselves. So that starts months before. That happened last summer. So we really immerse ourselves as musicians, learning the material so that we can help students every step of the way learn their parts. And at the end, we all weave it together. And it's a huge project, but a really rewarding one.
And out of all the productions and operas you've done, what's your favorite one?
My favorite one, this will sound like, you know, like a made-up answer, but it's the one that whatever I'm working on at the time becomes my favorite one because it's the nature of the performing arts. We immerse ourselves in the moment, and then we leave that. You know, I think everybody who's in an opera or a concert or a musical feels a little bit of sadness when it's over. But the good thing is there's always something new waiting around the corner. So I think right after you finish something that's your favorite and you feel sad about leaving it, but then there's you know, a steep learning curve for anybody when you're learning something new to get to the point where you're really having fun. So it's, you know, let's not kid ourselves. To do excellent music is hard work. It's like shoveling snow. But once you learn the notes and the rhythms and shovel that snow, then you can really play with it.
And I've observed that, like, in order to put out these amazing productions and to, like, sort of get over that learning curve, that everyone's been staying, the musicians have been staying, like, till like 6 p.m., like, really late to work on the opera. So what is that like? And do you find that students develop, like, a unique bond through that?
Absolutely. And I think that people who are drawn to want to do one of these wonderfully high-level musical activities, they have to really be committed, and many people are nervous or scared about it, but Mr. Schwartz and I are here to help them all along the way, and we help each other. So, without a doubt, and so we're about to bring in our stage director, who is an opera expert. So I think that students at Great Neck South really recognize quality in all aspects of life. They care about their academics, they care about their quality of their productions, and I think anything worth doing is worth doing as well as we possibly can. So definitely I think that you never forget people who you spend hundreds, maybe thousands of hours. But La Boheme is one of the world's most famous and beloved operas for a reason, and yes, I mean, we have a lot of work ahead of us, but we're very excited about it.
So outside of school and outside of music, do you have any other pastimes or hobbies?
No, I don't live outside of school. I live here, I have a cot, I sleep at school. It feels like that sometimes. But yes, music it's everything in my life. It's what I like to do in my free time as well. I like to see productions in the city. Before becoming a teacher, I worked in Carnegie Hall, which was super exciting, and I got to meet some very famous musicians such as Leonard Bernstein, Paul McCartney, Aaron Copland. So I like to see other great performers when I'm not performing myself. I also love animals. I also love sailing and nautical activities. I live near the water, so yeah.
Do you have any pets?
I do. I have 2 rescue cats. One of them is named Ciel, which means sky in French, because she just sort of appeared. I wasn't looking to have a pet. And then my other cat I named Mel Torme, after a jazz singer, because he was in the shelter and he was like singing and howling, and I thought he sounded like he was scatting. So yes, I've always had pets. I've had dogs or cats.
And this is a little bit unrelated,
Okay,
but
sure.
I've recently talked to Mr. Schwartz about like the construction of the music suite and like the library, or like the mini music library we have here is like really close to your office. So what's the process like building up that library?
Well, I think that we try to curate a list of excellent pieces of music that we think are of value for students to know about, either through performance themselves or historically. So if students go on to the college level and study music, you study things in greater detail, like you'll take a whole class in music history and be very specific about different time periods. So sometimes we like students to be aware of music and listen to it and analyze it, and sometimes the best way to do that is have them perform it themselves.
So what is your best memory from South High, if you say that you have one?
I am not good with superlatives. Like, I am not good. Because I really try to love and be immersed in what I'm doing in the moment. Every performance I've done here, I've enjoyed. I enjoy our concerts. I really enjoyed the Addams Family. I'm looking forward to La Boheme. I can't say that I've not enjoyed any of those. So, hard to say.
We have one final question, and
Okay.
unfortunately it's another superlative, but what's the best thing about being a teacher?
Oh, well, you get to spend the day with doing what you love, with a subject you hopefully are completely passionate about, and introduce students. I consider myself just a student just with a lot of years, a lot more years than our students. I think that every musician is in a constant state of learning. So the best part about being a teacher is getting to share a subject that you love with the amazing young people of South High and help them discover their own talents and their potential, whatever that is.
I think that's an amazing answer. So that's it for our interview today. Thank you so much, Dr. Robinson.
Thank you. I'm
for
super
having
camera
us.
shy, by the way. I'm much more comfortable being like behind the scenes. So thank you for being such great interviewers.
You did great. We can't even tell. I mean,
Yeah. Okay.
I've learned to act. I've learned to hide it. I've learned to hide it.
From all that experience
Yeah.
with the opera, with the musical.
Yep.
All right, thank you so
Okay.
much. This podcast is brought to you by The Southerner, Great Neck South High's newspaper. It is hosted by Sarah Sun and Lily Wu, directed by Amelia Liao, and edited by Janice Lee.